what's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and I'm going to break down 5 triads that will help your guitar playing and help your musicianship. This is really good stuff for you. There's a lot of implications. So I challenge you to learn what I'm going to show you here, but then use your own creativity, ask questions, figure out what's going on. I'm going to explain it really well, but I want you to then explore these concepts however you can. It'll make you a better musician. Also, check out the link below. I've got a free chord and scale book with these triads in it, so I recommend you get that for free. Also, a lot of this stuff, including everything in that book, is covered in my intermediate foundation course, which is just the base knowledge you need to become a guitar player that can take you in any direction. And that's a really affordable course that will help your playing amazingly. So thank you for all that great support of martymusic.com. And now let me show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. All right, 5 triads that really helped my guitar playing and my musicianship, becoming a better musician. There's concepts involved, and they're very useful. You can use them in a lot of creative ways. So the first one is just the classic D chord. When I play a D major chord, and I have that open D string in there, it's not a triad. But if I took away the open D and just played the G, B, and high E, that's a triad. It's the 3 notes of a major chord, D major. That's the 5th of the chord, which is an A. That's the root, which is a D of D major. And that's the 3rd of the chord, which for D is an F sharp. But a first concept is when you just are learning the notes on one string, E, always a half step to F, G, A, B, always a half step to C, D, E, back to that half step to F. Well, that same concept works moving triads up. So if this is a D major chord, but I'm not playing any open strings, just the frets that are pressed down, D to E is a whole step. So now this is an E major triad. And you'll hear it's the same chord as E major right here. Different voicing would be the term, why they don't sound identical. But they're made up of the same 3 notes. These are just an octave higher. That was all E major triads. Now, if I just played the 3 notes of this, that's a triad as well. So anyway, let's go back to that D shape. So if you know the notes on the B string really well, which I recommend, a great way is just start quizzing yourself on a target note on any of the strings, and then use that counting up to find the note, and you'll eventually get them memorized. So D, whole step to E. So that's an E major triad. E to F's always a half step. So if I move that up a half step, now I'm playing an F major triad. That was all F major. That B string is the F note. So up a whole step, that's a G note. I put that D shape plugged in. That's a G chord, same as this chord. Up a whole step, it's an A major triad. Move it up another whole step, it's a B major. Half step, B to C is always a half step. So that's a C. Up a whole step, I'm back at D. So if I took like, let's say, C, F, G, C, F, G, but I only use that D-shaped triad, how could I do that? Well, C is going to be all the way up here. That's the C note on the 13th fret B string. So that's C. F would be 6th fret B. So then F to G is a whole step. So let's say you wrote a song and it was just C, F, and G, and you're like, wow, man, there's, it's nothing too original about it, but our ears love the sound of it. If I knew a bunch of different voicings of that same chord, I could get more creative with the basic progression. As an example, and I was actually doing C, F, G, back to F. Let's say I go C, F, G, then the second time C, F, G, F. Now I'm just getting more creative. You could do something like this. Combine the two voicings. Or, you get the idea. So taking that and then challenging yourself, just say A major chord. Okay, well, how do I figure that out? At first, you should just climb up from D. D, E, F, G, A. Okay, so it'd be right there. Okay, so that D shape, great first triad. The second one we're going to base on that classic E-shaped bar chord. So if I play a C major bar chord right here, any three notes, that could be the triad, but when you just focus your fingering on just three of the notes, you end up usually with other fingers for you to do. Yeah, that's one really cool reason. So to play that triad off of that would be the roots on the high E. So for C major triad with the E shape, a lot of times this is referred to as the caged method because we're using the shapes of C, A, G, E, and D. So 8th fret high E, 8th fret B, and I'll usually cover the 8th fret G and then add that middle finger up a half step. So this is C major, and I can find it by the root on the high E string. So that's C major right there. So that would be B major. This would be B flat major. This would be A major, A flat major, G major, G flat, or F sharp, just like this could be G sharp or A flat, F major. Let's forget sharps and flats. F, G, A, B, half step to C, D, E, half step to F, G, A, B. Starting to run out of room. Let's take the C, F, G. I'll do this first. Now, how would I do that with the E shape? Be here. I can do F here. Up to G. And, picking out notes, you get a picking pattern. I could play rhythm with it. you know, you can combine them together. Now I'm, you know, mixing the voicings, and it adds excitement to it. And it's going to also make you understand the fretboard more. And playing, you can also use these triads as solo ideas. So instead of, or just to mix up if you're always using a pentatonic idea for a solo, which I love, you can start to visualize those triads too as chord tones for soloing. You know, that vibe. So let's see, that was the D shape for C major, the E shape for C major. Now you can find this next one off that D shape, but it's actually coming from a C. So you're still going to find the root on the B string. Instead of that third up top, we're going to play it on the D string. So that's a C right there. To play C major, I would then play the 12th fret G and the 14th fret D. And I love this one because you get this stuff. Now, don't get this confused with a minor 7. We're not playing that, we're just playing these. So that's the third shape. So C major with all three shapes. You got the E shape, you got the D shape, and then you got what we would call the C shape. Now let's do it for an F chord. You get the E shape right here, the D shape right here, and then the C shape by going like this. And it's great if you cover that, you can go. But I would recommend any fingers you have free, just play around, and if it sounds bad, it's wrong. If it sounds good, it's good. You know what I mean? Okay, so now I'm going to show you. So those were 3 major triads. They're super valuable. And once you get those down really good, learn the arpeggios off of them. But I can do that in another video. Here's 2 minor triads. The first one we'll do off the A minor shape. So let's say I wanted to play A minor, an A minor triad, just the top 3 strings of that. So let's do it up an octave. Find the root on the G string. So that's an A note right there. It comes from this full A root A shaped bar chord for minor, but we can just play the top three. And there's all kinds of licks around that. So that's A minor. If I wanted to play a B minor triad, I can move it up a whole step. Play B minor right here. E minor would be here. That's an E note on the 9th fret G string. Let's say I wanted to play D minor with that. Well, D is on the 7th fret G. If you hear this D minor, you hear the same chord. So the other one I'll show you is based on the E root. It's very easy, one of the easiest triads of all time. If I want to play A minor with the E root, you know, it comes from that, the E minor shape. So you just play these top three strings with one finger. So A minor up here, A minor right here. That's A again, all the way up on the 17th fret high E. What's cool about that one is you have all your free fingers, pentatonic stuff. You got let's play D minor with that. Well, D is on the 10th fret high E. A minor, E minor up to the 12th fret. D minor, A minor, D minor, E minor. Let's combine the two minor triads. E minor, E minor, D minor, A minor, D minor, E minor. So if it was like now you could get creative. So that was 5 different triad shapes that you should start working on. Now, let me take a progression that has major chords and minor chords in it. Hey, like No Woman, No Cry or Let It Be. C, G, A minor, C, G, F to the C. Let me just try some stuff. C major to G, A minor, F, oops, C, G, F to C. Try a different one. C, G, A minor, F, which I didn't even show you all the triads. C, G, A minor, F, C, G, F, C, C, G, A minor, F, C, G, F, C. Now I could do a solo by just seeing those triads and playing single notes from it. There's a lot of implications there, and I've already taught for 20 minutes, and that's way longer than most people who watch a YouTube video. But go experiment with that and have some fun. Get creative. All right, I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to get that free Ultimate Guitar Guide in the link below. Also check out martymusic.com. A lot of great stuff there, including a new community feature where I'm doing live streams for community members only, where they can actually chime in video, and I can answer their questions and they can play for me. And that's been really amazing. So check that out as well. Thank you for the continued support, and I hope to see you again in another video real soon. See you later.